Today, we're going to take a look at the NUX B-8 wireless guitar system, which promises to be a next-generation wireless guitar system, supposed to be feature-packed, pedalboard-friendly. We're going to take a look and see if it lives up to the hype. Let's get into it. As with all of my review videos, we're going to keep things structured, neat, and organized. So we're going to talk about the specs of the B-8 first. We'll do the good, the bad. We'll compare it to, kind of what else is on the market, and then we'll talk about the conclusions and if I think you should actually consider the NUX, where I keep thinking NUX. I don't know, it makes me laugh. Anyway, let's get into it. The specs of the B-8 wireless guitar system: it's going to feature a 2.4 gigahertz digital operating band, and it does come with auto pairing with the belt pack. It operates at 24-bit, 48 kilohertz sampling rate, which is pretty much, industry standard recording sample rates and bit size. Frequency response is going to be 20 hertz down low, all the way up to 20 kilohertz. For the performance, the latency, there's a couple different latency modes here, which is pretty cool. If you operate at the lowest possible latency, you're looking at 2.5 milliseconds, and in its stable mode, you're looking at 8.7 milliseconds. Operating range is up to 165 feet or 50 meters as long as you're in a direct line of sight. The connectivity is going to feature true diversity dual antennas, both TX and RX. It's going to have a 1/4-inch send and return jack for effects routing on the wireless box itself, which is pretty unusual. You've got an XLR direct output. Also does come with a cable tone simulation switch, and most interestingly, you get a built-in chromatic tuner and a built-in clean boost of up to 12 decibels. And in a fun, just kind of gimmicky sort of thing, you can change the custom startup screen and actually import your own pictures, which I have done. A fun thing to add here is that if you keep the belt pack off, it will actually go to that boot up screen when it's just like sitting around on standby after maybe I think about 30 seconds to a minute. So that's kind of fun. If you're on set break, whatever you got it set up as, it's going to display it. For the power or the battery, the transmitter is going to be rechargeable. It's a 3.7 volt at 500 milliamp lithium battery. A battery life they're saying is around 6.5 hours, and the receiver part takes between 7 and 12 volts DC. So if you've got a power supply with a couple different outputs, you've got some flexibility here, which is always nice. On to the good. Man, there's a lot to talk about here. I feel like this product, the only way to sum it up is like try hard, new company trying to break onto the market, and they are definitely succeeding. There is so much good to talk about. So first things first, the receiver part is metal. It's got a nice, robust switch. The main dial to make your selections is a really high quality piece. Same thing with the buttons on the front of it. I love that the charging part is magnetized, so if you pop in the transmitter, it'll hold it in magnetically. It won't go anywhere, which is super cool. This is the only product on the market that does everything that it does, as far as I'm aware. You've got a built-in effects loop if for some reason you need one directly off of your wireless unit. But to me, the big things, there's sort of three here that I would like to point out. Built-in chromatic tuner, built-in boost, and then the DI output. So, damn, this can do a lot. Just for the sake of comparison, right? Here's the pedal next to, your sort of standard stomp box. So you can tell it is pretty big, right? It's bigger than your standard stomp box footprint, but it's gonna replace your tuner pedal and your boost pedal all in one. So it definitely makes up for it, despite it being a little bit on the larger size. They also do have a ground lift built in on the front. So if you're having some sort of a hum issue at a gig, there's a decent chance that that will take care of it, which is a great feature. On the belt pack side, this one is plastic, but it does feel very well made for plastic. It does have a metal belt clip, so I have, all the faith in the world that this belt pack part isn't gonna break on you. I do think it's good that the belt pack is made of plastic because it's light, but it doesn't feel cheap either. The parts that should be metal are metal. So the belt clip part is metal. The 1/8" jack is also metal. The buttons kind of rattle around on it on the top, which makes them feel a little bit cheaper. They don't do that on the transmitter or on the receiver part. Sorry, this is the transmitter. But when you press the buttons, they still have a good click to it. There's your cable tone control is right on the top of the transmitter. So to me, it's a big positive that it's lighter, because nobody wants to be lugging around a bunch of weight, while you're on stage performing. In the bad, man, there's really just not a lot to talk about here. The only negative, which might be kind of nitpicking a little bit, is that they went with an 1/8" jack instead of a 1/4" jack on the transmitter. Why is that a negative? Well, you can't use like just a regular old guitar cable. Now, it does come with one, and they've got this little kind of proprietary thumb screw that will keep this in there so that it won't unplug. Right, so if I screw it in, right, now it won't unplug accidentally, which is nice, but this cable is definitely going to fail. Now, I reached out to, because cables fail, right? I reached out to NUX to try to find out, like, hey, do you guys sell these separate? Like, can you get an extra one? Because if I was performing, yeah, I would prefer the little thumb screw part, make sure that it doesn't accidentally unplug. They never got back to me. So, fingers crossed, customer support would be able to hook you up there. You could obviously just get like a custom cable with a 1/4" jack and an 1/8" jack on either end. You could, even if you're handy with a soldering iron, make your own as well. But being able to get the little thumb screw part that screws on in there, that I think is going to be pretty hard to track down on the internet to replace if and when it breaks. The cable itself is fine, it's noiseless, and I haven't had any problems with it, but cables fail. The tips are metal at least, but the jacks feel kind of plasticky, and the cable quality itself, like I would rather run, I use like a Planet Wave stuff usually. I would kind of prefer the Planet Wave stuff. Another possible problem is the 2.4 gigahertz band that it operates in. That's right in your kind of cell phone, Wi-Fi, transmitter frequency range. So if you're playing a really packed out club or something, you might run into interference issues. I used an ancient Line 6 G30 for like 10 years, which operated in the same kind of frequency range. Every once in a while, I would have problems, but very rarely. So, for the most part, I would say you should be fine, but you should just be aware it doesn't operate at the higher end frequency, which we will talk about when we compare it to other units. Now, those other units are basically near as double the price to get at those other frequencies, so, you pay for what you get. It's not unreasonable at its price point to operate at that frequency range, though. So how does the NUX B-8 stack up against the competition, right? So this doesn't come in cheap, around 350 bucks. That's a pretty sizable investment. What are you getting here versus if you go to other companies? First, just comparing it price-wise, if you look at something like the Boss WL20 or a Line 6 Relay G10, you're looking around 150, 220 each. Again, the NUX B-8 is around 350. A Shure GLD 16 Plus, that's gonna run you around 600 bucks. The B-8 sits right in the middle of the market, basically. It's more expensive than your entry-level units, but it is also priced well below that pro-end equipment. Now for range though, how do they compare? Well, this is where the NUX is substantially better over those entry-level models. Remember that the B-8 is rated for around 165 feet, which is triple the length of either the Boss or the Line 6 Relay G10 system that come in at 50 feet. Now there are higher end Line 6 or Shure systems that can push it closer to 100 feet, but the NUX is still right there and potentially at a lower price point. Now if you really look at the fine print and get in the weeds, you are going to find some models that offer a slightly wider frequency range, some of them going down to 10 Hertz on the low end and maybe even a little above the 20 kilohertz sample rate, but 20 to 20 honestly is pretty damn good, especially for gigging. Like I wouldn't record obviously with a wireless system, you're going to want to go with a high quality guitar cable, but yeah, this is going to sound for all intents and purposes the exact same in a live scenario as running a decent guitar cable. And most importantly, they are essentially matching the same quality of the sample rate as any of the bigger well-known companies. So wrapping it up, comparing the NUX to the bigger brands, look, if you're playing huge stages and you need absolute maximum signal stability, then yeah, spend the extra money and go with the Shure. But if you want something that is going to be just as good as the Line 6 or as the Boss, priced only slightly higher, but also super feature packed, right? Remember, it's got a boost built in and a tuner built in and a DI out with a balanced mic output, and you've got a whole extra send and return system that you might want to, like, there's so much flexibility that you can get from this one little pedal. Yes, it definitely stacks up against the bigger well-known companies, and right now as it stands, there isn't any other product that I'm aware of that does all of that in just one box. So, would I recommend the B-8? Obviously, yeah. I mean, you can tell kind of my attitude in this video. I think it's a very well-made product. There is an attention to detail here that is really, really surprising. I mean, up to and including the Velcro that it came with that is cut out ahead of time so you can still get access to the screws, as well as not blocking the serial number potential. I mean, like, there's a ton of detail that has been thought and put into this product. It really is surprising. I've been running it on its lowest latency mode. Now, I'm not gigging right now. I just teach my virtual lessons from home, and it's nice to just be wireless so you're untethered. I've had no signal dropout issues whatsoever. If I was gigging and building a pedal board, I absolutely love the fact that it doubles as a tuner and as a boost. You can program the switch as well for what you want it to do. So you can either short tap to turn on the tuner or turn off the tuner, or short tap to turn on the boost or off the boost. You can also program a long tap. So like that's how I would have it set up, right? Short tap to turn on the boost, you know, turn it off and on, and then a long tap to enter into your tuning mode. There's just so much flexibility here. And like, with an effects send is crazy, and then I forgot to mention it does have an input jack on the side directly on the unit. So if your pack dies on you, or if that cable fails, you don't have to try to pull this thing off the board in order to get into your first pedal. You just plug directly into the input, and it's like just another pedal then on your board. So it's like they really have thought through like everything. I can't talk enough about how much I love that just clips on. So I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, like if you leave this just sitting on it, if it will drain the battery of the pack or not. It'd be really nice if you could just store it that way, you know, going to and from gigs. That I don't know the answer to, but the thing is really well thought out. Now, $350 is a decent chunk of change, there's no doubt about that, but I think if you think about how much a tuner costs, how much a decent boost pedal costs, the price is all in there, in my opinion. Having the direct out adds an extra level of flexibility as well. I mean, damn, this thing does like everything. So yes, I would highly recommend the B-8. The battery length for the pack is very impressive. I've been able to basically teach, you know, they say what, 6.5 hours of life. I've been able to teach, I think I've had it running for about 5 hours straight and it didn't die. It got down pretty low, but it didn't die. So that is a legit amount of length. You know, who's gonna be gigging for 6 hours straight? I mean, sure, somebody will be, but yeah, absolutely love the life and the simplicity of charging the thing. I forgot to mention, the receiver also does have a micro, or not micro, but just a USB-C jack, so you can charge it directly and not need this as well. So, you know, if you got a gig coming up, you don't pull out your whole pedal board, you can just charge the transmitter on its own too. So, yes, highly recommended, Forgot to mention, yes, NUX or NUX did send it to me for free, but they didn't pay me for the video, so, you know, all my opinions are my own. I'm not a shill. I would tell you if I think a product is bad, and then people get mad when I tell them that I think a product, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you liked the vibe of the video, hopefully consider hitting like and subscribe. Here on my channel, I'm a progressive metal guitar player. I release and record my own original music here on the channel, as well as a ton of product reviews, free music lessons, the whole bit. So if you like the vibe, I'd greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. Yes, if you like the shreddy bits and the bumpers between the different sections of the video and you want to learn to shred, I do give virtual lessons. I'm a Berklee College of Music grad. I've been teaching here in the greater Philadelphia area for about 15 years, gigging, teaching, recording, doing all the good stuff. So I can pretty much teach you anything you want to learn. My contact info is down in the doobly-doo below. So thank you again for watching. A like or subscribe really helps feed the algorithm. I greatly appreciate it. I'm like clawing my way to maybe 8,000 subscribers soon, so you know, any support is always very appreciated. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Woo!